young men, young women, seniors, everyone joins in and has a great time. So that's what we want and celebrate here in Niagara Falls, where there is a lot of spiritual power, and let them, let all our relations know that we're still here, and that we're going to celebrate life and encourage all of our relations to join us. And so, we also will be having vendors. If there's any vendors that want to come down and set up for the day, give Kelly a call. And it should be a great time. The drum that we're going to have here, the main big drum, was handmade, and a special focus will be opening with that. And maybe I could ask my son Carl to talk a little bit about that big drum.
Sure. Welcome. This is Carl Jamison joining us today on the live stream. Again, we're talking right now about the Gathering of the Drums Indigenous Drum Festival happening here at the Niagara Arts and Cultural Center in Niagara Falls, New York. That's going to be happening here July 29th. That is this upcoming Saturday from 12 to 7 p.m. This amazing event is being sponsored by New York State Council of the Arts with support of Governor Andrew Cuomo and the New York State Legislature, along with some amazing groups, including Neto Akwanglahawe, am I close?
Nanto.
That's a better, I'm working on it. I'm working on my Cuba, but it isn't, I fear it'll take some more practice. But welcome, Carl.
Yes, hello. Good morning.
Good morning. Now, your father was just telling, and you are related, yes? So
yeah.
I thought so, but I wanted to make sure. All these handsome men in the studio, how am I supposed to keep track of all this? Now, one of the things that is happening is you'll be joining us as part of the opening ceremonies and the Native American big drum and water drum. Is that correct?
That's correct, for sure. And to give you a little bit of background of my experience with the big drum, I traveled with a group called the Young Gun Singers years back with the Trevor Jones and Lyle Anderson, and we traveled quite a distance from Buffalo to New York to New Jersey on a regular basis, up to the Foxwoods area and beyond, playing and singing, and playing at Jamison powwows and places like that. And I received a drum myself from an elder that he had made a number of drums, and it was the last drum he had, and I was gifted this really beautiful drum. And this was some years after a few of my friends, my personal friends and brothers, I call them, because when you play on a drum, you become family. You really become family. The bond that's created over a drum is pretty powerful. So I lost some of my brothers over time, and the drum had dissolved, but then this drum was gifted back to me, a different drum, but the same heartbeat, a big heartbeat, and it was called me back to that drum. Since I was a kid, I've always gone to soul shows and had an interest in drumming and dancing as well, together. So I've done everything from dancing with the Aztecs and drumming with Aztecs to drumming with Africans from Africa and Senegal and different areas. Emil Latimer, one of my friends that will be here playing with us is going to be Allan, and he's coming up. He's from Africa, and I wish he was here to get more of his background, but he's just here for 6 months out of the year and goes back. So I've been playing with the different tribal drums from around the world for a better half of my whole life, since I was about 5.
Wow. And if you're just tuning in, the Gathering of the Drums Indigenous Drum Festival, of course, will be featuring some of the water drum and the Six Nations drumming, but it is also extended that invitation to the Celtic drummers for the Boran and the Highland drums. We'll also be doing, like I said, the Haudenosaunee water drum. Senegalese rhythms will be coming from the African American Cultural Center. The Anishinaabe hand drums will be coming with the Strong Water Women. Brazilian percussion hopefully will be here with Ciro Baptista. And we'll also be having some sly boots from West Africa who will be joining us as well. So we have a very diverse, and if I'm not mistaken, we may even get a couple Polish drummers from the third floor here at the NAB, right? So we're really bringing these heartbeats together for an amazing afternoon of drumming from around the world and celebrating traditional cultures and honoring the ancestors and the traditions that people come and sharing that with each other. And I think that's such an amazing thing that you two gentlemen have really spearheaded and brought to have here. And I hope this does become an annual event. I'm really looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I'll give a shout out to Ciro, holding community workshops all this week at Art Park. And I understand they are free to attend from 5 to 8 p.m. I myself hope to attend tomorrow night. So, you know, we'll give a shout out to Art Park and you know, we'll see him on Saturday. And so, you know, this is unique, but there's a lot of events coming up here in the Falls that are spiritual focused, Indigenous led, and I'll also give a shout to some Indigenous grandmothers that will be coming into this area, I believe August 26th, and holding ceremony at Goat Island and Stella Niagara. And so, you know, this could almost be thought of as a prelude to what's coming. You know, there's going to be a lot more spiritual energy coming into this area, and so this is, you know, this is a good way to open that door. Let this community come together. There's no barriers in terms of costs. As we said, you know, vendors are welcome to set up, and you know, it should be a great time.
Now, speaking of that, there are going to be people who will be selling some musical instruments at the event, as well as jewelry and other types of things that are expressions of art and culture that will be happening here at the Niagara Arts and Cultural Center. So again, if you're just tuning in and you're looking at this, it's all happening on July 29th from noon to 7 p.m. And it's at the last thing you're going to be doing during this festival day is going to be an all-nation, all-jam.
Yeah, now that I might need some help with, because that's not something that I'm that familiar with, but I know we're going to have experienced drummers here, so I might have to let them take the direction on that. I know another drummer that expressed interest to be here is Siku Arwen, and he was in the area quite a few years ago performing and doing workshops, and he's back, and he was one of the first people to call and express an interest in being also on the program and as a vendor. Also, he'll be here as a vendor. So, you know, I think when we said the community jam, because sometimes you'll see reference to drum circles.
Oh, absolutely.
Being held, and so that's I think that's something that grew out of the African culture, and you know, so that's I think where that's going to lead. You know, maybe there's a way we can fit the big drum in there to start it off. I'm not sure. I'll have to leave that up to the artists.
I've been working on that actually a little bit. I've been working on that a little bit, and a lot of times with the big drum, so it comes in and the big drum is the lead drum. So the first guy starts off drumming. He's the lead drummer.
Okay.
The second guy, he's got to follow that guy's rhythm.
Okay.
So a lot of times in drum circles, what happens is every drummer wants to play to their own crazy rhythm. But in a drum circle like this, it's going to be, instead of everybody off on their own, and there'll be people doing solos.
Yeah.
But they got to stay within a certain rhythm, and that's something that Allan, being from Africa, I've got a big drum at home. He's got a djembe. We've had a little bit of time to orchestrate the sound of the different drums. So instead of it just being as random, it'll start off with a beat, and then the next guy's got to carry it on his drum, and it's going to go around. And then it's all going to come together, and everybody should be able to play on tune if everybody's good drummers.
And even if they're not, the big drum can lead the way.
The big drum will lead the way at the end of the day. That's correct. And a lot of people don't realize that there's not too many drums where you can play with 16 people on one drum. The big drum has that power.
Wow.
So we play with one stick. And so everybody's got to hold that same rhythm. And, Allan has played with me on the big drum. And he was like, oh, that's a powerful drum. That's a good drum. He says there's a drum similar but not the same in Africa. He says usually it's like more like a bigger conga that people play. And there's a festival where they call it the dance of the big drum. And one guy wins and goes crazy on a big drum and pounds away on it. But this is going to be a little bit different because we're all going to play our drums in unison and orchestrate a little bit in a drum circle all together, and not all at the same, it'll be somewhat at the same time, but within the same rhythm, all the heartbeats together.
Oh, I love that. I absolutely love it. And now I myself, I've never drummed, right? I've actually been gifted a drum that's been waiting maybe 10 years that I actually have in my studio. You can see when you come in, that was given to me years ago as a gift. Strangely, when I was walking through a powwow, someone came up and said, and it's beautiful, absolutely gorgeous drum, and they gave it to me, and it's been waiting. So maybe this weekend will be that time that it finally gets to sing. I'm like, oh, that makes me feel happy. But one of the things that I was really, really surprised about is as this event is being advertised, it's being gathering such momentum so quickly, with so much interest in it, that the drummers themselves, people who we've spoken to, have been so enthusiastic. The idea of bringing these amazing drummers from such diverse backgrounds together has been something that's really, people have moved heaven and earth to be here this upcoming weekend, and literally from all over the world. Like, I am not sure how this happened. Like, it is a minor miracle in my logistics planning soul.
That's great.
Right, like, I think that it's, you guys have just really, really inspired so many people. And so we are encouraging people to bring their favorite drum or percussion instrument to join in. And they will be led by our master drummers in that final event that brings everyone together to celebrate Indigenous cultural heritage and experience the power of music to bring people together. So now, tell me, gentlemen, what got you started in this? I'm like, one does not just wake up one day and say, I think I shall host an international drum festival, or do you?
Well, let me start out by saying a little bit about the water drum of the Haudenosaunee people of the Longhouse, and that's that the water drum for us represents the earth and all of our relations, and that's because when you look at how it's constructed, it contains a lot of the elements that we need. So it has the wood, it's made from wood. It contains the water, which is unique. There's not a lot of drums that use water throughout.
I'd never heard of that before.
So ours contain, we use the water, and then we have the leather hide, that goes on top of it, which represents the animal life. And again, you have the drumstick, and sometimes you'll see, people will fancy the sticks up a little, and they'll put like a tiny feather on it, to represent the bird life. So, that's something that's, that's been in our culture, and that's gifted to us from creation. And so we wanted to acknowledge that. But, as I've been attending different cultural events and meeting different people from around the world, I see how important the drum is in their culture. And so, I thought this would, this would be a grand, festival, bring these different drummers together, because, I remember now they're saying to me years ago, and, he says, the sun don't only shine for us only, meaning us native people. It shines for everyone. So, that's what we want. We want, and I think the place to do that is Niagara Falls, because, this is really a spiritual center, and that's what that's what's needed is to reinforce the spirits. And I think this is a good way to do it, and welcome everyone to join us.
I think you're right. People, we know, whatever, now we call it tourism, but in reality, people from all over the world have been called to this space for thousands of years, right? Mm-hmm. The power of this physical place, the sound of it. One of my favorite memories as a teenager was coming up to the falls, and we used to come, rules were a little bit laxer back then, right? And so I remember coming, and we come up at night to the edge of the falls, over by Three Sisters Island, or over to the edge. And I remember coming there and at nighttime and taking my shoes off when all the people had gone, right? All the traffic was gone, everything was quiet. And you could stand on that stone, and you could feel it in your feet, right? You could feel the earth moving to the sound of water, right? Or like that vibration. And if you stood there long enough, it would go up to, like you were at a rock concert. But you were literally at a rock concert, right? Like the rocks were singing. And you could feel it, right, all through you. And I thought that was the most powerful and amazing thing. And it was actually one of the memories that encouraged me to come back here to Niagara Falls in order to work and to live, right? Because it was one of the most magical experiences of my youth. And I was not looking for it, right? We're just kids who were bored, right? And we're, looking around like, oh, let's go look at the falls, right? But for me, that was a very magical experience. And I often tell people who are coming up here to visit the falls, like, oh, what do we do? What do we do? I'm like, take some time to breathe. And experience what is here. It's not always about where you're going, what you're doing. You'll never see this again. There is no other place on earth like where we are right now. And take some time to actually be here. And don't get me wrong, the Maid in the Mist is awesome, right? But and there's all these opportunities. Of course, you should visit the NAC at 1201 Pine Avenue, Niagara Falls, New York. But there are things to do, and one of those is just to be, right, here. So I think that you're right, and I love this, that you're bringing this festival here to bring these people together.
Kelly, maybe I could ask you to talk a little bit about the logistics of the site.
Sure.
Like where we recommend people for parking.
That's a great question.
Should they bring a lawn chair and that kind of
Sure,
stuff?
actually, I think that's a great idea. One of the things, and I assume you're recommending, if you do want to bring a lawn chair, you should do so. We will have some chairs available, and of course there's a large grassy space if you want to bring a blanket to sit out here on the grass here at the Niagara Arts and Cultural Center. There are bathrooms inside. Now, there is parking throughout the neighborhood that is free and available to you, including up and down Pine Avenue, on Walnut, on Pine, all throughout and around the Niagara Arts and Cultural Center. However, one of the other things that you may wish to do if you are interested in not having to worry about parking, is take an opportunity to use the Niagara Shuttle. The Niagara Shuttle it runs all up and down about the 12 miles of the Niagara region. If you're coming from an area hotel, by all means, you can hop right on the free shuttle that'll take you from the hotel, or if you like to park by the train station or down in Lewiston, at Fort Niagara, any of those spots along the way, you can hop on, hop off that shuttle, drop off right here at the Niagara Arts and Cultural Center, and then you can leave. It runs about every 40 minutes. So that's an excellent opportunity if you'd like to do that. And then you can actually take a tourism thing. And there's free Wi-Fi, on that, and air conditioning in case you get a little overheated while working, playing your drum. However, there is, like I said, again, free and available parking throughout the neighborhood, including over by the Memorial Hospital and down Pine Avenue at the local businesses. And that is mostly free and available to you throughout here. But if it does get busy, I recommend the shuttle. So,
Right, thank you. Yes.
Oh, no, Allan, you were right. This is the logistical stuff. See, you got me all inspired, and I forgot I forgot to be practical. I don't know if that's ever happened to me before, Allan, so I'm like, good job with that. So one of the things that is happening here on July 29th from 12 to 7 p.m., the restaurant inside the Niagara Arts and Cultural Center will be open. Is there going to be any other food that we know of, or food trucks or anything like that?
I put a call out. I haven't heard yet, so I'm still waiting, but there probably will be at least one or two food vendors.
Excellent. So that looks like we have a comment coming in. Oh, they said, thank you. Niagara Falls is a really beautiful place in this earth. Thank you so much for those of you who are listening right now, watching us on Facebook Live. You make sure you can give us a comment anytime by just typing it in. Now, actually, this is inspired as part of your overall mission for NANTO. Tell me a little bit about, because this is not the only thing you do throughout the year, this gathering of the drum. This is the first time all year long.
Yes, NANTO Harinagwe Ongwehongwe, which means here lives the people in the Huga language, is set up to promote and support the indigenous culture for the peoples of the Americas. So literally we do whatever we can with the resources that we have, to support the culture of the first people of the Americas. And so that can range anywhere from presentations in schools, community presentations. It can run the range of activities to having a snow snake festival in the winter, snowshoeing, whatever is indigenous activity to our people, and that we can promote and support, bring our people together, and also share it, because our overall agenda as indigenous people is to take care of the environment and to spread a message of care for the earth and each other. So with that as our purpose, these are the activities and ways that were given by our ancestors. So we want to promote those. We want to share those and also learn from other cultures. So this is something that that has been thought about at different times, I believe, and we had a plan years ago to bring in the indigenous, I think it was like 13 indigenous grandmothers to come in, but logistically that was very, very difficult. Maybe I'll give a plug to the NAC because doing something like this takes planning, and it's a lot easier to work with an organization And, like sometimes, people might say, well, did you, could plan it at Goat Island or something. But then you're working with the state of New York, and there is an awful lot of regulations. And so, this was something that, as I said, there's going to be a lot of other spiritual activities taking place in this area in August. And so this is a good prelude to that. This is a good beginning.
How can people find out more about what things are coming up in the future?
Well, I'll have to recommend maybe visiting our Facebook site. That's on that's Nanto. Nanto, Hatinagwe, Umpwehole, and then, just U.S. But visit that, and then maybe I could stay in touch with you, and maybe you wouldn't mind posting it on your website.
Oh, not at all. And actually, the NAC is happy. We've actually recently started building individual web pages and for each one of our artists in residence. And you actually have a studio here. Netta was actually located here, one of your offices. Here at the Niagara Arts and Cultural Center, and so we would be happy to post any of that information here. So you can give us a call if you are interested in more information, and I'm happy to send that out on emails as well through our e-newsletter. If you'd like to be part of our e-newsletter, just give us a call at 716-282-7530. That's 716-282-7530, and let them know in their main office that you would like to sign up for our e-newsletter, and we'll make sure that you get all the information provided about not only the events happening here at the Niagara Arts and Cultural Center, but through our various partner sites as well. And again, speaking of that, partner sites, don't forget to check out Art Park. Currently, like I said, Ciro will be here. Ciro Baptista is at Art Park right now. He'll be conducting some percussion workshops on community drumming, and that'll be happening today and throughout this week. And that is an amazing opportunity to work with this percussionist who has, I believe, won 5 Grammys. And he is an amazing and very powerful drummer who's come a very long way to work with our community. So take that opportunity to do this. It is free to you, provided by various grants and opportunities, including the Friends at Art Park. And of course, Ciro will also be here. So once you practice your drumming with him, you can bring your new skills on over to the Gathering of the Drums happening July 29th. From 12 till 7 p.m. here at the Niagara Arts and Cultural Center. And now, actually, while we're talking about things that are happening around the neighborhood, I just want to do a couple of shout-outs. Of course, the Gathering of the Drums is happening, but one of the other things happening, save the date. If you are loving music, if you are interested in history and cultural events, Quartetto, my Italian is as bad as my Cayuga, FYI. Quartetto Accademia Piano Ensemble is coming here to the Niagara Arts and Cultural Center from Milano, Italy. That is going to be happening on August 4th, 2017 at 7 p.m. It's a musical evening with Quartetto Epe from, like I said, Milano, Italy. It is going to be featuring a Stradivarius violin surprise, as well as viola and piano. This special evening celebrating Italian culture will feature an elegant and inspiring concert by Italy's top classical musicians performing in the NAC's Grand Theater. The concert will begin at 7 p.m. and a VIP dinner prior to the concert at 5:30 will present traditional family recipes found in the restaurants here in Niagara's Little Italy. Polenta, Italian sausage, pasta, salad, and so forth. The event is sponsored by the Italian Honorary Vice Consulate, Lucia Ederer, and Accademia Concerti di Arte Milano, and the Niagara Arts and Cultural Center. Please share this information and invite your friends to this amazing event. You can buy tickets online at www.thenac, that's THENACC.org, or by giving us a call again at the NAC at 716-282-7530. Again, 716-282-7530. You can purchase tickets at the door, but if you'd like to come to the VIP dinner, you must purchase tickets in advance. Again, general admission is $20, suggested donation, and the dinner is $30. Again, you can reach that information right there. So again, we're having people, I can't believe the amount of people who are coming from around the world to bring music to our little corner of Pine Avenue. It's kind of an amazing situation happening here. Now, speaking of the Grand Theater, though, if it rains for our festival, and it's been raining quite a bit around here, you can take a look out the window and see the amazing plants and the great growth. But you may have a water drum, but you probably don't want it rained on. So if there does rain this weekend, the event will move inside here to the Niagara Arts and Cultural Center, either in the Grand Theater or in the gallery.
Right, and we should also say that it's a family-friendly event, kid-friendly. Bring your children; they'll learn something, and you know it's something that we can share.
With the gathering of drums, and the gathering of people and nations from all around the world, one thing that I believe tribal people received around the world was every group and every nation has a drum that's their own drum almost. It's made from their own area. But I really believe this, and I've heard it through other cultures and my own, but when people come together, we all have different languages. So when the drum was made through tribal people around the world, the message of the drum a lot of times brought in festivities. It was used in ceremonies, but everybody didn't speak the same language. But the one thing that they could share was the different drums, and they would signal and talk to each other and be able to communicate through drums throughout time. And the gathering of the drums is really about a lot of that too. I believe taking part in this and playing with a number of different cultures. I don't speak Swahili. I do speak a little Wolof. I might understand a little Wolof from time to time. I do speak Cayuga. But I only received that knowledge and language because I first became friends with people through drumming and the sound and the vibration of life and friendship and learning the different rhythms. And those different rhythms, after drumming, we'd take time to talk and share each other's language and songs. And so we would, share, hey, what does that song mean? Oh, we have a song that's, gives thanks for the morning too. Let's put them together. And so when you get a group of drummers together, it's really about sharing that vibration and the strength of the drum and life and how it's all connected and how each nation and tribe is some way, I believe, connected. And sometimes people get lost with all the things we need in life. But a drum is very simple, and it does a lot for us in bringing us together. So we don't have to talk about politics when we are drumming. We don't have to talk about different TV shows or what's going on the latest news. It's about the vibration of the earth and how we're feeling and expressing ourselves through our rhythms. And that's what's really going to be special, is that everybody that's going to come together, I believe, is going to leave with that vibration. And when you play a drum, it enters in it brings up your vibration. You walk around playing a drum, you have that special feeling, and like you were in a circle with a group of people, and that bond's going to be there till the next time you get to play your drums together. So that's what the gathering of drums for me, in taking part of this means for me, is that all the people are coming in and going to play on that drum and their drums and share one voice, even though we don't speak the same language. At the same time, I believe the world will feel that vibration, and maybe the birds will sing their songs, and that's going to be what's so special about this event.
I think that's amazing, Carl. Like I said, I really do believe you're right, and I think this event happening here at the Niagara Arts and Cultural Center, this upcoming Saturday, will bring those people together, and to have a little bit of that vibration. And you know what? And I'm excited to see it go throughout our neighborhood. And one of the reasons why we're really excited about having it here in the heart of the city, right, is the ability for that sound to permeate, right, all throughout this region, to go through, and even across the street here where we have the hospital, we have the home for the aged, we have up and down the streets here, the businesses, the people, the individuals, the schools. All of these people are going to feel and hear and be called, right, to the sound of that drum, and we really have you to thank for that. So tell me, we're wrapping up, what is one of your favorite memories of drumming?
Oh, my favorite memories?
It can change tomorrow.
No,
right?
no,
Like,
it usually, I think when you get into my favorite time drumming, actually, when I was gifted my drum, the most beautiful sound that I ever heard in my life was probably this big drum that I received from my friend Joe Villagomez. I was doing him a favor with moving furniture at the time, some years ago. So one of my best friends at the time, Kevin Jamison, and I went and we moved furniture all day long, and this drum was sitting there and the sun was just shining on it, and I was like, that's a beautiful drum. I didn't have a drumstick to play it, and Joe says, oh, he's like, that's the last thing to go on the truck. He says, I want it special. I want it it needs to be taken care of specially. He says, we understand, we get it. And so Joe had a pile of money sitting on the table, and he says, you want that money or you want the drum? And I went up and I put one finger on it, and the sound permeated through my ears. And even my friend that was moving with me, he says, Carl, you need to take that drum. He says, and we started tapping on it. You're right, I need to take that drum. I had bills to pay. My electric was going to be cut off. And as soon as I touched that drum, I says, now I have to get drumsticks to play this drum. And I called up immediately after taking it. Mm-hmm. And when I got those drumsticks and I started playing it, my heart started shaking. I thought, oh my God, this is amazing. My heart is shaking. This is my drum. And I became an owner to this big drum. I call it the Thunder Drum. And it's the Thunder Drum. It's painted blue with ceremonial paintings on it to bring more power and competition to people. It's handmade by a person that I looked up to my whole life in business, and he says, hey, when you leave the casino, he says, you'll have a drum because I know you played with the drum and you gave up playing with the drum to come and work in the casino. So when you go back, you'll have a drum, your own drum. And that was like being at the age of 35. I was like a little kid. I became a little kid with that drum. I played on other drums. I played djembes, but there was no drum that I ever picked up that was that powerful and meaningful. Once I got that drum gifted to me, it was grand. And now I'm going to share that drum with.
And that's the drum you're going to be playing.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm really excited to hear that. Is that the drum that's been in the photographs on your
Yes.
Facebook page?
Mm-hmm.
I have been admiring your blue drum.
It's a Milwaukee powwow drum, yeah. And there's a story that goes with it. When the hides were pulled for it, on a drum that size, the cattle, they look through the herd. If a cow leans to one side, it'll stretch the hide on one side. So the maker of the drums, they got to go out and they take about an object the size of a stop sign and they put it on the side of the cow, and whatever side that cattle sits to,
Mm-hmm.
that hide stretches. So it's going to be too thin on one side. So they need a cattle that stays directly in the center,
Mm-hmm.
so it has a perfect sound. And then that's how they choose on which cow is going to go on that drum. So that was the process of picking out, for my drum. Everything was selected just to be on that drum.
Wow.
And that was part of the process. And hearing about they have to stretch the hides. It's quite the. They say it takes about 6 months to really have that drum from start to finish, from the hides and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it is quite the process, and I don't think of it as value wise. The money was on the table, and Joe says to me, he says, that drum is probably worth about $2,000. He says I would never sell it. He says that I would only give it away. I always said that. He's like, it's my last drum, and he's elderly now. He says I'll never probably go out and make a drum again. He's like, but you're gonna do good with that drum. Go do good stuff with it. So as a gift to me, and respect to Joe Villagomez for giving me that gift of friendship, lots of love to you, brother. Thanks.
And tell me a little bit, what's it been like to actually play that drum out?
Each time I've taken that drum out, people dance, people gather around, they rush to that drum. The sound of it is fierce. It sounds like there's thunder, and I don't just play it alone. I have 8 sticks that I play with, so when I have people sit with me,
Mm-hmm.
we play it, and we just start off with a very simple rhythm, and we build from there. And then other people, they'll bring their drums, and this drum is very powerful. It's like 36 inches wide.
Wow.
So just think of the sound of thunder's coming through your eardrums and into your heart. You're gonna listen to that drum even if you don't want to when it's played, right? And that's how it feels. You feel powerful. It's a powerful feeling to have something that shakes your heart.
I'm like looking forward to it. And I said, so this is all happening, and you can hear that drum this weekend on July 29th at 12. You'll be opening up the drumming festival with this particular drum, calling all the people of this area to come together to celebrate the gathering of the drums. This Indigenous Drum Festival here at the Niagara Arts and Cultural Center at 1201 Pine Avenue at 12 noon. And there'll be an opening ceremony that'll be happening, and then of course hopefully we'll hear that drum along with the many other drums from around the world that'll be culminating at an all drum which the big drum, and that will probably be keeping us all in peace. So again, we want to say thank you so much to both you. Carl, I can't wait to hear your drum. Thank you so much for joining us today here at the Niagara Arts and Cultural Center. And Allan, the director of Netto, you are an absolutely amazing human being. So glad to have you here at the Niagara Arts and Cultural Center and here at WJJL live at the NAC. And we look forward to seeing you again. Allan, any last words?
Just a final note, everyone's welcome. It's free, so there's no barriers, and we'll see you Saturday.
We'll see you all on Saturday. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.